Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, as you know, we did this video right here where we kind of took a look at a lot of data that had been presented by the Crime Prevention Research Center and had taken a look at that data objectively just so we could start weeding through it. And then we told you we're going to be doing some sub-videos. We're going to kind of geek out on some of the sub-components, take a look at the data a little bit closer and see what conclusions we could draw from that. This is one of those videos. We're talking about this one today because I want to talk about gun-free zones, or what sometimes now is being called as sensitive places. You see, we've been this huge push all around the country, most frequently in these Bruin response bills, which is, oh yeah, Supreme Court, let me show you something. And so we've seen states, California being the most egregious, that has basically tried to turn their entire state into one gigantic sensitive area or a gun-free zone. Does it work? Does it make your lives safer? Well, you probably already know the answer to that, but we're going to answer it for certain today. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about the gun law that will actually get you killed. Okay, so what we're talking about yet again today is all of the data that the Crime Prevention Research Center has recently disseminated. It basically just breaks down mass public shootings, that is, shootings in which at least 4 or more people were injured or killed, not associated with some other type of criminal enterprise. What does the data show us? Well, one of the most alarming things that the data showed us is the frequency at which these types of mass shootings occur in gun-free zones, or California, you now call them sensitive places. This is an area that the state legislature has said, hey, you can't have a firearm here. Doesn't matter what your concealed carry status is, doesn't matter anything. You cannot bring a gun here. And shockingly, lawful, responsible gun-owning Americans have a tendency to follow the law. That's why they are, in fact, lawful and responsible gun-owning Americans. Also, shockingly, the criminals do not. And that's, of course, what makes them criminal. Now, why would a shooter want to go to a gun-free zone and shoot the place up? Well, the best answer is pretty easy to figure out. It's the lack of armed resistance, because the likelihood that somebody's going to shoot you back when you're in a gun-free zone is pretty remote. And the data shows that this is exactly the situation it's creating. And so the bottom line here is do I believe that gun-free zones get people killed? I most certainly do. Why do I say that? Take a look at the data. Because as you can see when you look at the data, 82% of all mass public shootings, better than 4 out of 5, occur in a gun-free zone. Only 18% occur at a place where armed resistance is even possible. What is the likelihood that better than 4 out of 5 mass shootings take place in a gun-free zone? Now, I certainly recognize that there are a handful of areas that might be very sensitive to the point in which there would even be a historical tradition of allowing disarmament in those locations. However, most of those other places, the Johnny-come-latelys that all of these state legislatures have been passing, not only is there not one iota of historical precedent to support it, but unfortunately, the data shows you're going to get your citizens killed. Listen, we're going to go ahead and link up all the data down below so that you can geek out on it for yourself. I think the numbers are pretty clear. Gun-free zones don't save lives, but they certainly are costing lives. For any state that's thinking about passing this, thinking that you're going to do something that makes your community safer, what you're probably going to do is get some of your lawful and responsible citizens killed. Listen, if you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington Gun Law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. Now, in the meantime, let's everyone remember, the part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.